Oh yeah.
Since it's up, then it's stuck. Why don't you aim at the totem pole? Get a golden globe. Maybe then you would know the roads. Walk it like you talk it, but you driving the latest boat. Guess it makes sense. Your daily mantra is your latest quotes. Follow in their footsteps. Who you think that you paving for? I guess we should watch that Viola Davis show. Make them all mad, and you Hall of Fame go in OP mode. You better rope the blow. You Padopis, bro. Man, I'm the one y'all can't fuck with. You better pipe down with all that up. Then it's stuck.
Got a Sedina in the building. I see you.
I hope they bob and weave instead of buying bobs and weaves. That seems to be a common thing, man. Avoid the common things.
I swear.
They'll weigh you down. They don't care. I swear. That's how they claim that they was there. I swear. The whole world spinning like it's the fair. I swear. But it's clear that y'all wasn't there when I was marching my way up the totem pole. Man, they throwing bows and they ducking poles. It's like a game of limbo. How
this
I'm
Monday night, y'all.
Put the team on my back, said fuck the coach. Man, I'm the GOAT. And
Jay Iris.
Marching my way up the totem
That's
pole.
JA1RUS.
It's like a game of limbo.
Talking about Stuck Up.
Put my team on the
You can
back,
find them on
said
Spotify.
Y'all be one hit wonders, make that shit stop. Your little 15 seconds is fame is up. Man, TikTok, this is your welcome to hip hop. Thinking about how y'all got here, man, it's so exhausted. Mumble rappers on that show, but shawty, this that jam. When it's just another throwback anthem. Simple so much I can't even tell you what's the sample. I'm bringing bars back. Say it with your chest or have a heart attack. Y'all ain't got the heart for that, and I know I got the heart to match. I know niggas in the hood with extenders, play dance and play limbo. You pull up, it's uno momento, and this ain't for nothing but lately niggas moving slow. And I
We
ain't
about
even
getting ready to get started here.
like I'm David
Giving
Ruffin.
folks
When
a
they hit
chance
the
to get
fan, the
in.
world ain't spinning no more. It's on fire, hell froze over. Life closing in, you can't be sober for closure. I never sweat, I can't pull over. Hoodie on, they rob the game of its culture. Zip them up now, it's a baddie bag older. Take the mask off, revealing they poser. My palm itching to go getting closer. But I'm bred different, you can't imagine where I've been. I sleep through the noise, I can't
Make you
rest
wanna
when it's
swag,
silent.
sis.
I'm marching my way up the totem pole. Man, they throwing bows and they ducking poles. It's like a game of limbo. How I'm going low. Put the team on my back, said fuck the coach. Man, I'm the GOAT. And in Mamba mode. Marching my way
Up the totem pole.
Man, they throwing bows.
Jay Iris.
It's like a game of limbo.
Yeah, I gotta play him. Not only because he's my son, but because he be sliding.
Big deal,
Ha
Big news. Extra, extra, read all about me.
Jay Reynolds in the building.
This Justin bitch is mad.
This is a good friend of mine called Cleo Jador. She said you better talk nice
As I stare,
to me.
plot scheme, then I attack. Ooh, better talk nice if you're talking to me. It's F you, pay me cause I'm something to see. Meditation needed if you're trying to reach this wavelength, this frequency, yeah. If I'm glowing, don't disturb me, please.
Oh yeah.
I'm setting vibes, I'm setting energy. They only mad because they could not reach this wavelength, this frequency, yeah. This soul space, they want it. This drip bay, they own it. They copy, so corny. They sloppy, but I own it. This soul space, they want it. This drip bay, they own it. They copy, so corny. They salty, cause I talking about my way. I hit them back with the highway. Oh, excuse me, am I late? Don't you know that?
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I do not own the rights to this music.
Do not attempt to adjust your radio. There is nothing wrong. We have taken control as to bring you this special show.
Yeah.
And we will return it to you as soon as you are grooving.
It's been a long time.
I should have left you.
Without a strong rhyme to step to.
Think of how many week shows you slept through. Time's up. I'm sorry I kept you.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's
Talk to him, Jay.
Pop in real quick. Hey, play our words. Pops and Pops Gems. You know, coming up, we got Pop's
Let us
perspective.
tell you what it is, tell you what it ain't. Giving you the real, we'll never do the fake. Life is a gift, but sometimes we need guidance. Pop's perspective, always perfect timing. Call that alignment. Yeah, he gon' drop them gems.
Oh, yeah.
You know he really him. It's something about his confidence that let you know he hasn't seen.
You don't want to miss. Don't meet me there, beat me there. Pop's perspective, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my friends, dudes and dudettes, and all that good stuff they used to say, welcome once again. Another edition, Pop's Gems, Pop's Perspective. We in the vault. Shout out to you, and oh yeah, you in the back. I see you. Welcome. It is Black History Month. Yes, sir. We are in the month of February. And before we get started, you know I got to do what I got to do. I want to give a big shout out to God, who, of course, without none of this would be possible. And my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now, you know, they had some controversy. They was talking about, I don't want to get into that. I'll talk about that another day. Shout out to God. Exotic Pops, you see him on the table. You see him right there, my man Lefty. If you need them, Poppin' Snacks, not Pops yet. Hey, never know. Poppin' Snacks, 4119 South Orange Blossom Trail, and that's in Orlando, Florida. You can get your Exotic Pop there, or you can go see Tashanti if you're out in Mount Dora at 4400 County Road 19A, Suite 8A. And that's in Mount Dora. Go out there, get you a pop, let her twist your wig up. Excuse me, tell them Pop sent you. So we definitely want to send a shout out to Exotic Pops. Great supporter of the show. My man, Left Hand Lacey. I call him Left Hand Lacey. He's Lefty. As you know, I'm very, very good friend of mine. When, you know, there's not a lot of people you trust with your life. And that's all I have to say about that. CTP, Create the Panic, of course, www.allseasons.shop. You want to go out there. I talk about him all the time. He's been on the show before. Seasons, he got a bunch of pins. He got Create the Panic. He got some special stuff coming out. And y'all stay tuned because we're going to get together with the CTP crew, Create the Panic crew. We're going to come out with a Godfather bomber. Some other stuff, you know, I can't hold water, you know, I gotta tell it. Back to Left Hand Lacey and Exotic Pops Punch. I'm gonna say it till we drink it. Pops Punch. Of course, my other son, Jay Iris, JA1RUS, you'll find him on Spotify. You hear me playing his songs in the show. And like I said, I don't play him because he's my son. I play him because they raw. You need to check him out. That's JA1RUS, Jay Iris. And he got a bunch of hits on there. They're all, to me, they're all bangers. And you'll find him on Spotify. Of course, I couldn't leave out my good friend Lakai Holmes with the candles. Get your candle. www.lakai, L-A-K-I-A, Homes, H-O-M-E-S. What's happening, Holmes? Not that Holmes. Holmes like your home. Check them out. Tell her Pop sent you. We got Pop's Perspective. That's a beautiful candle. You see it burning here. It has layers as to be synonymous with how deep the show goes. Sometimes we get on some good conversations and things get deep, and there's nothing wrong with that. Enhance your mind. Exercise your brain. You need to take things to another level. All righty. And then, of course, to, again, you, and you, all of you who took the time to tune in and check out the show. We appreciate you. Those of you who have been following. And for any future followers out there, let me say it with the mic and loud in the mic, we want to thank you in advance. Had a conversation with a couple interesting ladies. I got some stuff coming up for y'all. How about Female Fire? I'm going to have a show with nothing but female rappers, and y'all need to tune in for that. Stay tuned for that. That's a good one that's coming up. I want to thank a special guest of mine. Last week was Miss Cozy, Miss Goddess Adina. She came and she blessed us, and we talked about work being a 4-letter word. And so, excuse me, we want to thank her for that. Then, of course, we have next week, and I'm jumping ahead. I'm just giving you all this now because once we start talking, next week, Sweet and Sour, Valentine's Day, the pressure it applies to relationships. So make sure you tune in for that. And then for you crumpers, all you dancers out there, we have a very special show coming up on the 19th. I got two guys in here that were with or have been around some of the originators of Crump. And so you don't want to miss that. And then, of course, Am I My Brother's Keeper? We got to do Am I My Brother's Keeper. So just take about 10 seconds. Think about somebody that you know that needs a blessing. And we're going to focus on that. Like I said, 10 seconds and give them a moment that whatever spiritual power you deal with, I talk to God, but whatever your spiritual power is, give them that opportunity to receive the blessing. All right, so 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Now, as I told you before, each Monday in February, we was going to do Black History. So I got something I'm going to read to you. Definitely going to read to you, but I want you to hear this. And I found this on the internet. I don't know who this young lady is, but very profound. So y'all listen to this for a hot minute. Tribute to Black History.
Black is brilliant. Black is strong. Black is resilient. Black is song. Black is infinite, like hip hop or space. Black is grace. Black is love. Black makes babies. Black babies grow up. Black is tough. Black is hard to do. Black is me. Black is you. Black is not something we get to choose, but it is something we get to cherish. It's something we get to wear, and we get to rock this with honor. I'm black like my granddaddy and my great-great-great-great-grandma. Black is that lift every voice and sing. Black is that letting your freedom ring and resound. Black is adjective, adverb, color, and noun.
Talk your ish, girl.
You so black. Ooh, you so black. When you smile, the stars come out.
All right now.
Baby, you so black. When you're born, the God come out.
All right, our tribute to Black History. You so black. But, we got to understand that it's imperative that we understand where we come from and we celebrate our culture. They need to give us more than just 1 month. I'm going to say that in the mic. They definitely need to give us more than 1 month. A little tidbit before we get into it. Looking for my guest. He's going to come in here any moment now, and we're going to get him online. Got my cameraman waiting to set us up. But we said that each Monday we was going to talk about Black History Month for about 5 minutes, and the first Monday we was going to go back 10 years. So I did a little research, I did a little digging, and I wanted to share this with you. And I'm going to be looking down, I'm going to read my teleprompter, my iPad, but I want to go slow so that you understand that what we're trying to get across. Now, Black History Month was founded by Carter G. Woodson in 1926 to not only celebrate a unique culture in America, but also raise awareness of the important contributions Black Americans have made to society. To ensure the original intent of this month was preserved, there was a theme required each year to drive a specific focus. So in 2014, the theme was Civil Rights in America. Wow. It was selected as the Dover Air Force Base African American Heritage Committee launches the upcoming month-long celebrations. That'll be the topic. Now, the year 2014 is of great significance as it marks the 50th 50th anniversary of the passing of the Civil Rights in 1964. The act was brought on by the National Association for Advancement of Colored People, better known as the NAACP, through their methodical challenging of educational system that stood by the concept of segregated learning systems. Y'all excuse me. They brought before the United States Supreme Court 5 very similar cases that are commonly referred to as Brown versus the Board of Education. It is noteworthy to mention that 2 Delaware cases were also part of this landmark decision, Beulah versus Gebhardt and Belton versus Gebhardt, where black students were being excluded from attending the local white schools. Now, the NAACP won their case, and the resulting legislation made it illegal to discriminate against anyone based on race, color, religion, or national origin, and provided the power to enforce desegregation of schools in America. The Civil Act right was pivotal in the U.S. history, as it opened up not only schools to any and all, but all public facilities. It also equalized voter registration process and mandated equality in the workplace. Although this fight was specific to the African American race, it was also very applicable to every race and gender being denied their unalienable rights as outlined in the Declaration of Independence. Now, 50 years ago is not a long time when you consider the timeline of American history, so it's not that hard to catalog just how much we've shifted as a society and as a result of this legislation. Now, it's funny that they talk about that, because now here we are 50 years later, even 60 years later, as we're in 2024, and we still got trouble in school. It was first they didn't want us to learn together. Now they want to control what we teach. Excuse me. So, my brothers and my sisters, we've come a long way, but yet we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. So, that is your moment in Black history. Never stop being who you are and learn where you come from. It also helps when you dig into where you come from. You'll start to understand more and more about why you act the way you do, why you're faced with the things that you encounter. It is, like the girl said in the poem, it is hard to do, being even a minority. And for those of you who wonder, well, he ain't black. Yes, I'm Puerto Rican, black, and French. For those of you who may have an earbrow, I know I'm light-skinned, as they say. But nevertheless, it is important that we remember our culture. All right, I'm gonna play one more song, and then I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm getting my guest in the house, and once my guest comes in, or at the end of this song, whether he's in or not, we are going to start on our topic for tonight, which is learning how to say no, self-preservation. So I'm going to hit you with a song right quick. All righty. Give me a second here. And nothing up my sleeve. And then after the song, we're going to get right into, matter of fact, let's finish out.
My stage.
Yeah.
I let them know that this my place, and not devour at the high rate. I'm a savage, I'm a pirate, a big boss, big magnate. Oh, ain't without the talking, unless we're talking blue face. No Harvard dance, won't catch me riding no two-face. Heard I act like a man, I shrug my shoulders, sip my do say. I wouldn't be a boss if I'm stumbling off what you say. I know how it daunting out for woman flexing pussy. Instead of trying to tear me down, celebrate me, hip hip hooray. Really can't ignore me, baby, cause I'm too great. Why they sleeping on me? Price goes up, I'm at a new rate. This sauce, babe, they want it. This drip, babe, they own it. They copy, so corny. They salty, cause I own it. This sauce, babe, they
Oh yeah, Creole J'adore.
this drip, babe, they own it. They copy, so corny.
Talk about talk nice to me.
Yeah. He was talking, that dude called my line with the red, rah, I said, don't, listen. Talk nice to me. Better talk nice if you're talking to me. You hear that? Thank you. Talk nice to me. That's my essence. I'm sorry, bitch. Talk nice to me. Like a boss. Talk nice to me. 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 Talk nice to me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going to get started. Now, let me say this while I'm doing this. If you have comments, if you have anything that you want to share, add, if you want to come in, send a request. I got my cameraman on point. If you want to jump in the live and say something, that's fine. Pops is open to that. This is a safe space. Now, again, I want to thank everybody that joined. Very, very interesting topic, learning how to say no. Because there's a lot of times in life we go through things, and I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. If I do, I just have to backtrack. But there's a lot of times we go through life and we create our own problems. We create our own scenarios because we don't want to say no. So tonight we're going to take a little trip down memory lane. Or not memory lane. We're going to take a trip down the road. Excuse me. We're going to talk about some things that come to mind when you think about saying no. It's very important that when you're dealing with learning how to say no, I feel that one of the things that needs to come to the forefront is self-preservation. And it's going to make sense in a little bit after we get to talking, that you'll understand that sometimes you're not saying no because of the individual, but you're saying no because of yourself. Have you been there? Has anybody ever been there? I have. I know I have. I just recently had a situation that kind of blew up in my face because I didn't say no at the beginning. And, you know, when you deal with all that, it also comes to, you have to understand that self-preservation, you have to know yourself, and we'll get into that. All right, so reason. Some things are, you know, it's just hard to say no. You ever been in that scenario? No matter what happens, is, you know, you find yourself dealing with something that you just cannot say no to. And so tonight we'll talk a little bit about that. Women are socialized to be agreeable. In other words, back in earlier days or years and years ago, not now, because women are very outspoken now, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but back in the day when women were just taught to be agreeable, you know, to go, you know, to be quiet out in public type scenario, be submissive to their husband, or they was always taught to be, you know, not to be so outspoken. And so when they were asked to do certain things within reason, they were expected to do so. Just cause. So it's social pressure sometimes can put us in a predicament where we don't want to say no because of social pressure, is because of what's quote unquote expected of us. And so it's imperative that when you are in a society that oppresses you, you learn how to put up a force field. I said this before. Be the thermostat in the room. Do not be the be the thermostat, not the thermometer. When you go in the room, set the temperature. Don't measure the temperature. Too many times we conform to other people, and so we go along to get along. For example, you may not want to drink. But because the drink is pushing in your face, you find it hard to say it was just one little drink, or, you know, whatever the case may be. And I'm not bashing alcohol. I'm just saying, you know, our mindset. For example, you may be dieting, and you go somewhere, and because another one of the things is that it was politically correct. When you go somewhere and somebody offers you something, you're supposed to say yes. You're not supposed to turn it down. And so now you're going against yourself because you had already said that you wasn't going to do this, that, or the other, but because of the political correctness of it all. I remember one time, a long time ago, that I found out, it says, oh yeah, when you go out to eat, it's imperative, it's just politically correct to leave something on your plate. And I said to myself, okay. Then I went to the restaurant and looked at the prices. I said, I will leave the knife and the fork on the plate. I paid for this food. You don't have to call me politically correct. I'm going to eat everything I pay for. But again, that just deals with society, because we want to be in the groove, or in the know, or we want to be, considered among those that are following a certain trend. We do things sometimes that go against the grain. I said, no, I'm eating everything. You got to leave some. No. I told him, no. I learned real quick. Don't judge me. I like to eat. Nevertheless, social society can compel us to be scared to say no, because we don't want to feel out of pocket. A traumatic environment. Traumatic environment meaning that you're afraid to say no because of the results of your no. In other words, there's a lot of domestic situations. Let me just put it that way. There's a lot of domestic situations that say, don't say no to him. That's your, and cultures, some cultures teach us, don't say no to your husband, or don't say no to your this, that, and the other, because, you could be, put yourself in jeopardy. And so, sometimes traumatic environments, will force you to not speak your mind. Even on the job site, let me say it that way. A lot of us are on jobs, and we're scared to say no to certain things because we're scared we'll lose our job. I'm pausing because I think we as a people don't understand that the job is not our source. And what I mean by that is, when you went and you applied for that job, you entered into a negotiation. They wanted you just as much as you wanted the job. And so for an individual, and I'm going to step out on a little limb, for an individual to say, I don't want to do that because I don't want to say no because I don't want to get fired. They could, they ask you to work overtime, or, they ask you to stay longer, this, that, and other. You're scared to say no because you don't want to get fired. Well, first of all, where's your self-esteem? You got the job. You had the skills to get the job, and you agreed. You made an agreement for the job. And so if there's something that you feel, and I'm not telling you, listen, don't go out there tomorrow and tell you about, I ain't doing nothing. Pop said I ain't got to do nothing. Then you get fired. And I'm just saying there's certain things that, you don't have to endure. And as we get into the benefits of saying no, you'll understand. I can let you know, one, if it's causing you undue pressure, stress, nervousness, upset. Some people will get physically upset because they internalize so much that they're so scared to say no that they'll do it, and then they know they got to go pick up the kid, or they know they got to go do this and know they got to do that, but because of the fear, and then all that is negative, and it builds up, and when you don't let that out, it produces physical ailments. If I'm talking too fast for somebody, play the tape back. I'm just kidding. You have to be careful how you allow outside pressure to affect you internally, and don't be so fearful. Now, if you're in a position that you feel saying no is going to cause you physical harm, then you need to check that situation. What they say, if this is an emergency, you need to hang up and dial 911. And I laugh, but it's not funny. If you're in a situation that telling something or an entity no is going to cause you physical harm, then you need to check that, because then you're doing stuff against your will. You're kind of being held against your will, kind of forced against your will. And that's not good for anybody for whatever reason. So fear of resentment is another reason why people don't like to say no. They don't want to be ill thought of. They don't want to be, they don't want people to think any less of them, or they don't want people to resent them. For example, and it just came to my mind, you need a fourth person to do something, and you don't want to say no. You really don't want to play, or it could be a game of cards, a round of golf, whatever. And you really don't want to do it, but you don't want people to resent you. And so that deals into a deeper issue, which is looking for self-validation. And so when you feel that you need self-validation, or you're looking for validation, rather, not self-validation, validation of who you are and stuff, and so you want people to think highly of you. You don't want people to say, oh yeah, they wouldn't play, or they wouldn't do this because of them, this, that, and the other. So that's another thing that can cause a fear of people afraid to say no. And they'll go along to get along, but in the meantime, they're miserable. And when I told you, if you do not release it and you internalize it, pressure bust pipes. Pressure bust pipes. All right. So fear of resentment. Also, you don't want to seem like an outcast, You can't cook, couldn't boil water if you had the instructions, but so that you wouldn't be left out of potluck, you're going to run over to Publix. I'll bring a cake, I'll bring some cookies, anything to make me feel fit in. I don't want people to make me like I'm an outcast, like I'm the only one that didn't do something. And then, in some scenarios, with that mentality in mind and that specific thing, it can cause you to, keeping up with the Joneses can cause some financial strain as well. You can't afford to do what the next person's doing, but because you don't want to be left out, you don't want to be talked about, you'll go into your own, or you'll put yourself in a position where, like I said, you really can't do it, but you're doing it because you don't want people to think, any different of you. And so that's another cause. I'm trying to hit the point. So again, if it fits anywhere, and that could be on both sides of the coin. Let me say that, because peer pressure is a bleep bleep bleep, like they say. Peer pressure is crazy. People have been pressured into doing things that they really should say no. They should say no to, and so it's caused a lot of difficult situations. Association by assimilation. There's been people that have gone along with other people to do things, and instead of just saying no, they ended up, caught up in some drama and some mess, because all they had to do was just say no. Think about a couple movies, A Bronx Tale. Remember when he was in the car and he was going and to blow up the other people, and he told them, no, get out the car, get out the car. He said no to that. Even in Boys in the Hood. And I know I'm talking about movies. I'm just giving you an example to say that was written, but just follow along, will you? In Boys in the Hood, when he was in the back of the car, he made a decision. He said, nope, this is not for me. And it goes against the grain. And, where some people might think what they will or may. When dealing with self-preservation, sometimes you can't care what people think when it deals with self-preservation. I mean, I'm not saying don't care what people think. Like I told y'all before, and I'll say it again, listen to what people say, but only use what you can. Don't care about what they think. Don't allow other people, their idea, their perception of a certain individual, that if you don't fill that standard, you're not like that. Well, that's their ideology. That's not yours. That's their viewpoint. That's not yours. When it deals with self-preservation, don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't get to a point where you're doing something that you know good and well you ain't got no business doing, or you don't have the wherewithal to do it. They had a comedian that made a joke about when they got famous, they tried to party like other comedians. And the comedian went out and rented out all of Disney World and what have you. I ain't stealing nobody's joke. I'm just telling the story. And so, you know, when he went out, he was like, you rented out the whole park. And so they went out, they partied the next day. He's like, let's do it again. He said, no, I can't do that. So, you know, don't let other people put you in a position where you feel you have to do something. If you ain't got it, you can't do it. Just say, no, I can't do it. I just, you know, don't think of any less. You know what you can and cannot do. But sometimes we expect for other people to see that the pressure they're putting on us. You know, we expect for other people, you know, any minute now they're going to stop asking. Any minute now they're going to stop asking. People don't care. I hate to say it like that. But takers, they don't care. Takers don't have any limits. I'm going to let that sink in like Ben Gay. Takers don't have any limits. The more you give, the more they want. And I've been in several scenarios where out of the goodness of your heart, you try to do something for somebody, and it's like the more you give, the more they take. And then after a while, they feel like you're obligated to keep giving because you didn't say no. You didn't set a standard. You didn't put a cap on it. I know we talk about nowadays, it's like no cap, no cap. Well, you need to cap some stuff. You need to be like a bottling company. Takers have no limits. Givers have to set them. I've said this before and I said it again. Never give away or lend anybody something that you're not willing to part with. I don't want to say lose, just to part with. Especially money. And I don't know who's in the chat. I don't know who's watching, but I should get a whole bunch of amens, attaboys, clapping. You know, how many friendships, and you may experience this personally, have been destroyed. Years and years of friendship with 50 Cent. Not the rapper. I'm just saying the money. Over monetary things because people, you know good and well. First of all, let's break that down. If they thought enough of you to ask you for it, and you know them that's just not their character to pay back, then don't expect for it back. You know, you should know the people you hang around. You should know, like when you see somebody on the corner that may be down and out, when you give them money, you don't expect it back. You give it to them with the intention that that's it. They're going to use it for whatever they're going to use it for. Well, you'll save yourself a lot of headaches sometimes when you stop expecting so much from people or stop expecting the you from people. Because there's usually people with big hearts that get caught up and end up getting hurt. You know, you sometimes nowadays it don't pay to have a big heart to that expect, because people will run amok. I'm telling you now, people do not care. They will use you until you're used up and then make you feel like it's your fault. You can't help them no more. Wow. Okay. Feeling obligated to do what they ask and not to say no. And what I mean by that, you got people sometimes, and hey, if I ruffle feathers and, you know, if you're guilty of it, lace up the shoe, put it on, run a marathon. Family, friends, and loved ones are usually the people that will impose on you with an obligatory, if that's a word, with an obligation type mentality. Oh, because you my uncle, because you my cousin, because you my brother, because you my sister, because you my ace boom coon, you're not supposed to say no to me. You're obligated to help me. And sorry, I hate to say that, but every tub sits on its own bottom. I mean, yes, I condone helping people, don't get me wrong. Those of you who know me, I don't mind helping people. But there has to be a standard set by yourself. Like I said, givers have to set a level, because if not, what's going to happen is, you ever heard that saying, don't let your good be evil spoken of? When you start doing something nice for somebody and you don't set standards and you don't set barriers and limits, then what's going to happen is you're going to end up getting frustrated, and your good intentions are going to be for naught, because at the end of that is going to be, like I told you, pressure bust pipes. Things are going to fester so much, and instead of you speaking your mind, you're going to internalize it. The next thing you know, whatever relationship was there is destroyed because pressure bust a pipe. It happens. It happens. You cannot allow people to make you feel like you're obligated to help them. I'm not saying don't help people, but if you're helping people to the extent that it gets where it's starting to be a problem, the more you give, the more they want. They used to say, you give them an inch, they want two. You give them a rope, they want to be a cowboy. Some people, it's better to cut them off at the pass and just tell them no than to continue, because it's gonna escalate, it's gonna lead, and then it gets to the point where you, as a giver, may even feel obligated because you're so far in or you're so vested. Don't fall into that trap. Don't do that, because again, and we're getting ready to get into the good points. You have to see people for who they are, and I guess that's what comes with when you're dealing with people. When you deal with yourself, you ask yourself, is what I'm saying yes to something that I really want to do? Is it the benefit? Who's going to be the beneficiary of me saying yes? Are we mutually going to benefit from this, or is this one-sided? And I know that sounds kind of selfish, but you got to realize that when a taker no longer can receive, they'll move on to the next giver. Think about that one. When a taker can no longer receive, they'll move on to the next giver if their intentions were not pure. Now, there's some people that really, really, really need help, and you're really, really in a position to help them. But gratitude goes a long way. And a good friend of mine tells me all the time, thank you makes room for more. When you show your appreciation, and don't just say it physically, show it. I stay with a couple people, talk about me, stay with a couple people, in my lifetime. Things happen, slept on the couch here or there, but it was just for me to get up, keep the house clean, things of that nature, stay in my little corner, not do as much, not make any noise, because I didn't want to overstay my welcome, number one. Number two, I was appreciative of something that I didn't have that they were providing, and I didn't want to lose that. But sometimes we get complacent, and if we find people that are just too nice, or don't set any boundaries, don't ever say no, then you're headed down the road for a disaster. Trust me when I tell you. All right, so we've talked enough about the negative. Let's talk about some of the benefits of saying no. Some of the benefits of saying no from the giver standpoint, or from the person that's being asked. Number one is it builds self-discipline. And what I mean by that is people are not the only ones that you have to say no to. Sometimes you got to say no to yourself. I'm sure we've all been there where we've done some things that we know we shouldn't have done. Excuse me. We've done some things that we know we should have said no to. And again, we're dealing with self-preservation. And so we have to come to the realization that saying no is going to build self-discipline, so that each time we have to say no, we can be stronger. And that deals with our finances, our time, any aspect of our life. If you want to reap some benefits, you have to get some kind of structure, some kind of discipline, or you'll be tossed aside. For example, and I'll use this, losing weight. If you're trying to lose weight, you have to discipline yourself to say no to the cake, no to the cookies, or whatever it is. If you're trying to abstain from being an alcoholic, or if you're trying to keep from going broke, whatever situation you control, you have to learn to deal with no to yourself. Because if you can't say no to yourself, you're not going to say no to nobody else. I'm just talking. So it helps build self-discipline. Each no will help you say no more. Now, I'm not just going out there saying no to everything, but it has to be a process. You have to start somewhere, and in your mind, the biggest thing is start saying no to what you're going to allow yourself to do and not to do. You know what I'm saying? If you know that you're weak in a certain area, then say no when you see yourself exposing yourself to that. Say, no, don't do that, because you know what's going to happen. And again, that comes from self-knowledge, and it deals with discipline. Benefits of saying no. Number 2, you set boundaries. And what I mean by that, you set boundaries to where after a while, enough no's build. It's like a wall. It's a barrier. You know not to even go there. You ever talk to somebody? Don't even go there with me. Because they've already established a boundary. They've already established a level where they're like, no, I'm not going to go in there. If you're weak to something, that boundary can also help. He's like, nah, I'm not going to the donut shop, or I'm not going to Publix. They got them donuts over there, or they got the bread. Whatever it is, you start setting a boundary. Say, okay, I'm going to go through the drive-thru to pick up my medicine. That way I don't go in the store and I'm not tempted. You have to say no, even to temptation, things that are tempting. So you start setting boundaries so that you don't put yourself in a position to fall weak. And then not only you're not saying no, you're going to turn around and be saying, I'm sorry, which is going to cause some psychological, oh, woe is me. Now your self-esteem and your self-discipline. Trust me, it's a process. Set boundaries. Which segues into number 3, your self-esteem. Some of the benefits of saying no, you can feel good about yourself. A group of your partners come out, hey, come on, let's go hang out on the town, and you know good and well that when you go out, you can't control your liquor, you can't do this, you can't do that, you're going to end up in a world of trouble. And so you said nah, and so now you say, hey, I can say no. I could be all right. I don't need to be out there with them to falsely appear to have a good time. So it's very important that you build some self-esteem. Be proud of yourself when you accomplish some things. I was in a situation one time that I didn't have to leave. I was okay, but I was uneasy. And what I mean by that is I thought I wanted to be in that position. And then when I discovered that it wasn't sitting too well with me, I got up and I left. And so it helped me feel better about myself that I was able to grasp that self-discipline and set that boundary. And so it helped me to get some of my self-esteem up. All right. Number 4. We almost done. I'm just rambling on. My points are very to the point. I'm watching the chat. I see everybody joining. Ain't nobody said nothing, so we're going to keep moving. All right, number 4. It increases respect level from your peers. Saying no, how does that increase the respect level from your peers? They know you're not a pushover. They know not to try you in that area. When you stand firm in your decisions and you say no to certain things, certain people that care, the ones that really care about you, will have a different kind of respect for you, because they'll know they know if you're trying to quit drinking, they won't come at you with, or be around you with liquor or things of that nature, because they respect the fact that you said, no, I'm not going to do that. So I had an individual that said they were going to quit doing something, and we used to deal with it all the time. And just so out of respect, I wouldn't even talk about it around them. I wouldn't even bring it up. But that's when you stand firm in your no, and you know what's good from you, then you're going to receive the respect from your peers. It's a benefit. Now, if you get somebody that's not respecting that, then you need to check your association with them, because people should respect the rights of others. If I tell you I'm trying to lose weight, don't bring me no cookies and cheesecakes and stuff like that, because then to me, that it kind of defeats you respecting the fact that I'm trying to get healthy. And I bring up illustrations. Ain't nobody did nothing, so don't Going back to about somebody brought Pops cookies and all right. But it does increase the respect level from your peers when they see that you stand firm. Even the Bible says a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. There's people that, you don't want people wishy-washy around. I don't want wishy-washy people. Let your yay be yay, your nay be nay. If you stand something, you say no, then fine. Now, too many of us are allowed, and again, it goes back to peer pressure, to be persuaded out of our own standings, our own morals, our own standards. But when you get somebody that stands firm, say, nope, you'll hear people say, no, not him, he ain't going to do that. And don't take that as bad. Take that as respect for your decision, because you made that precedence that you didn't want to be involved in those things. Okay? All right. So it increases the respect level from your peers. Also, not only your peers, but people around you. It's like, once you set that standard and you build in boundaries and people know where to cross and what not to cross, it can permeate itself in a lot of different areas. Like on the job, if they know you don't work overtime and they're gonna stop asking you because they're gonna know no, that one, no, they ain't gonna work no overtime. Just go on to the next one. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but what I'm saying is stand by your guns, and you'll see that people will start respecting your decisions. And those that don't, there's nothing wrong with pulling them to the side to say, listen, all points considered. And this ain't nothing about being soft. You just want to deal with it in a non-confrontational way. Say, hey, listen, I appreciate, you bringing these donuts every day, but I'm trying to lose weight, so I appreciate it if, you just offer from anybody else. Don't offer me none. That way I don't have to deal with the temptation of saying no to me and to that jelly-filled glazed donut that's ever so luscious. I'm just playing. So it does increase your level of self-respect. And then last but not least, it gives you peace of mind. And what I mean by that, it gives you peace of mind, I mean that when you start setting your boundaries and setting your standards and setting your levels, you'll feel better about yourself because you won't have the friction of doing things that you really don't want to do. And that's where it deals in self-preservation because, and we talked about this last week, work is a four-letter word. If you feel obligated to do something and it's really not in your DNA to enjoy that, you're doing it out of routine or you're doing it out of obligation, then you may build a resentment to that. And so when you're doing things and you're not resenting it and you're engaging in what you want to engage in, then you're not at war with yourself in that peace of mind because you're not saying, I really don't want to do this. But I already told them that I was going to do. I didn't say no. Then you sit up and try to find 50 million excuses to get out of what you said you was going to do. And again, there goes your peace of mind because your mind's not enjoying the things that you want to enjoy. Your mind's tied up on how to deal with, the peer pressure, how to deal with, the fear of something that we can control. We have freedom of choice. And I know that there's a lot of things that, can come up, a lot of different scenarios and things of that nature. But I'll say this. I think that a good portion of our problems that we encounter is because we just didn't say no. And no is no. No, sometimes you may need to elaborate, but sometimes you just, you remember what mom and daddy used to say, no, why? Because I said so. And it's okay sometimes because you said so. You don't owe an explanation to anybody. And if you handle it in the right way, if you come across the right way, then of course you will be able to not lose a relationship of whatever kind. And that's where you'll find that, when people respect you for who you are and people respect your decisions, you'll be able to say no without any major controversy. Sometimes saying no can get you in a world of hurt, but you have to be in smart enough in your surroundings that if your no is going to put you in harm's way, then you need to consider the whole environment in its totality, because it's that to do anything that they really don't want to do. Sometimes we make sacrifices for the things that we want, but as far as being forced to do things, I don't think anybody should be forced to do things that they really don't want to do. It's not good. And when you're dealing with somebody that you're forcing them to do something, you're not going to get 100%. I don't care as much as you may feel that you will, you're not going to get 100% because their heart is not in it. You ever heard that? Your heart's not in it. So tonight we talked about learning how to say no for self-preservation's sake. Consider the outcome. You know, who's benefiting from you saying yes? Are you benefiting from saying no? Do you really need to reevaluate the situation? And in some things, you may say, you know what, let me get back to you on that. And do a pro and con in your head. Go back and forth and see. Go back and forth and see whether or not it's merited to say no or say yes. Don't be so quick to jump up and give an answer, because you're going to have to live by that answer. All right. So let me see. About 8 more minutes left. I know I talked a bunch. I hope that something that I said was helpful for you. That you, again, we're here to what? Inform, revelate, information, revelation, or confirmation. So I hope that something's been said that you can find helpful. Don't forget that sometimes you say no to protect yourself, because you know that what you're saying yes to is detrimental. Know the difference. Know your self-esteem. And it is okay to tell people no. It's okay to say no. Do not be a puppet. Learn how to cut the strings and tell people what it is that they can and cannot do. Take a stand for yourself. You're your own gatekeeper. And it's okay to be nice, but remember, sometimes you have to control it, because what? Takers have no limit. Givers have to set them. So even in being big-hearted and even in wanting to help, you can't save everybody. But nevertheless, count up the cost in doing what you do, because there's a longevity about it. And in the end run, if it's not the outcome that you desire, don't do things for status quo. And let me just jump in there real quick. Sometimes we go through things and we do things for people to like us. And so we go along with things just for people to think differently of us, and end up, hurting ourselves. If you don't like that kind of food, don't say yes to go to the restaurant just 'cause. A bleak analogy. Next week, as I thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you greatly for your time, something you cannot get back. Again, I hope I've said something that you like. If not, next week, come back, tune in. I'll say something else. But next week, we're talking about Valentine's Day. Is it sweet or sour? The pressures of the holiday, as they say. And we're bringing back our very special guest, our mental health counselor, Ms. Brooke Bishop, will be here next week and talk about that. Valentine's Day, for those of you who are in a relationship, out of a relationship, wanting to get in a relationship, tune in. It's on the 12th, this Monday night. We're also going to have our Black History moment one more again. And I'm not going to call out names. The person that's going to do it next week knows who they are. So we thank you for that. What else can I say? I can say thank you To all of you that are following, share this with somebody, tell somebody else about it. If you, like I said, if you don't like what I said, come back next week. We'll say something else. Don't forget, if you are in Mount Dora, stop by and get you an exotic pop. And tell them Pop sent you. Lakai Homes for the candles. Make sure you get there. They got this stuff called Black Love. Black Love for Valentine's Day. For Valentine's Day, for Black History Month as well. So make sure you visit her. CTP All Seasons is coming out with a bunch of stuff. He's also going to be on not next week, the week after. I want to say the 19th, if my numbers are correct. But he got some great stuff coming out. Make sure you follow him. Other than that, my friends, it has been a pleasure speaking with you. I'm going to take you out. Hopefully, Spotify act right and let me play this song without any difficulties. Let me see what we got going on. Remember, be nice to somebody. You don't know what somebody's going to. Never know what somebody is going through. Give somebody a hug. Tell them you love them. Reach out to your family and friends. It's Black History Month. Support the culture. Support the movement. Valentine's Day, we're going to talk about that next week. Well, my name is Pops from Pops Gems. Again, thank you so much. And we are going to see what my song to be is. Yeah. Jay Iris gonna take us out. This one's called Solitude. It's available on all platforms. Till next week, I'm Pops.
I got Colin Dot in question.
From Pops Gems, we in the vault. Pops Perspectives. Remember, it's okay to say no.
My little MP3. This before we knew that social media would get hot. The way you got heard was LimeWire or mixed hip hop, or we hit H&HH. We heard that it dropped.
Next week we're gonna talk about Valentine's Day. Sweet or sour.
Where I'm from, repeatedly regressions of recessions, but I'm destined with a flow.
Once again, I'm your boy Pops.
Randomly in the session. My brother said, whatever you write, just keep it G. Please don't be one of them guys spitting something that's make believe. Make sure your music in real life is what it seems. I knew exactly then who I turned out to be, and now I just have lucid dreams when I sleep. Now when I pull up, got them jumping like they keep